Hello everyone, greeting to all of you. Last video we discussed about bacteriological test, biological test, coliform index, E. coli test, E. coli index, confirmatory test, completed test and most probable number test. Okay, so in this video we will discuss about the chemical test of water. So let's start the video. Now, first we will discuss about chemical test. There are various chemical impurities contained in the water should be determined by conducting laboratory test. So, the first laboratory test is total solids. The total solids consist of the following two impurities, that is suspended impurities and dissolved impurities. So, first suspended impurities. It includes of colloidal matter and settleable matter settle in sedimentation tank. And the second is dissolved impurities. Depending upon the type of salts, these solids may cause hardness, alkalinity or salinity. Means the suspended impurities means the particles which settles down due to their own weight under the effect of gravity. And the second, that is dissolved impurities, means dissolved impurities are the impurities which are not visible to eyes as they are dissolved in water, for example salt. So these are the two impurities that present in water. Now the next point we will see is measurement of total solids. The first point is water is filtered and the residue on filter paper is wetted and is known as suspended impurities. Water is filtered means here water sample is taken, then it passed through Watsman filter paper and then weight of impurities present in filter paper is recorded, which is known as suspended impurities. Then the second point is the filtered water is evaporated and the residue is wet, which is known as dissolved impurities. Then the third point is the volume of water is known. Total solids present can be converted into mg per liter. And the fourth point is the difference between the total solids and suspended solids will give the amount of dissolved solids present in sample. Here water sample is taken and then it passed through the Watsman's filter paper and then weight of impurities present in filter paper is recorded, which is known as suspended impurities. The permissible standards for total solid. The total solids in potable water should be limited to 500 mg per liter and they should not exceed 1000 mg per liter. This is the permissible standards of total solids, that is it is in between 500 mg per liter and they should not exceed 1000 mg per liter. Now, the second chemical test is hardness. Hardness, it is the property of water which prevents formation of lather with soap. Here, hardness means which prevents the formation of white mass of bubble produced by washing powder or soap. Also, hardness caused due to presence of carbonates and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Okay, then hardness is of two types, that is temporary hardness and permanent hardness. So temporary hardness is caused by carbonates and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Then the permanent hardness, it is due to the presence of chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium in the water. The hardness is determined by soap test. According to IS, that is Indian Standard, EDTA means ethylene diamine tetraacetate method is used to decide total hardness of water sample. Here, hardness means which prevents the formation of white mass of bubble produced by washing due to presence of carbonates and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Okay. Now we will see the classification of hardness. Classification of hardness is given in the following table. The first column is amount of hardness in mg per liter, and second column is classification of water. So this table shows the hardness of water. Here the amount of hardness is 75 mg per liter. Then the water is soft. Then the amount of hardness is in between 75 to 150. Then the water is moderately hard. Then the amount of hardness is in between 150 to 300. 150 to 300. Then water is hard. And if the amount of hardness is above 300, then the water is very hard. So from this table we can classify the water. Now we will see the effects of hardness when in excess. These are the various points. So first point is inconvenience during cooking due to scale formation. Inconvenience during cooking due to scale formation. Then the second point is more soap consumption during washing. Then third point is it causes bad taste. Then fourth point is it causes discoloration of clothing. And the last point is it causes more consumption of fuel in boilers and hot heating system due to scale formation. Here scale formation means layer of impurities which is formed on inside surface of boiler. Here the scale formation, scale formation means the layer of impurities which is formed inside the surface of boiler. Hence heat supplies to the water is prevented by the layer of impurities, and hence more heat is required to heat the water inside the boiler, which increases cost as well as energy consumption. So these are the effects of hardness when hardness is in excess quantity. Now the third test is chlorides. It is the chemical which are mainly because of intrusion of seawater, domestic waste and industrial waste into the water supply scheme. So chlorides means it is the chemicals which are mainly because of intrusion of seawater, domestic waste and industrial waste into the water supply scheme. So our first point is chlorides are present in all natural waters. Freshwater sources contain chlorides ranging from 100 to 2000 mg per liter. Okay. Then the second point is excess of chlorides in water may be harmful for use. Then the third point is chlorides can be determined by titrating the water with silver nitrate and potassium chromate. And the last point is the presence of high quantity of chlorides in river water may indicate the pollution of water due to sewage. So in this, the sewage means the domestic and industrial waste. Okay, chlorides means chemical which are mainly because of intrusion of seawater and domestic waste and industrial waste into the water supply scheme. So the chlorides are present in all natural waters. Freshwater sources contain chlorides ranging from 100 to 2000 mg per liter. So the excess of chlorides in water may be harmful for use, for domestic as well as public use. Okay. Now let's see the effects of chlorides. First effect is when chlorides are present in water, taste and corrosion take place. If chlorides are present in water, then the taste of water and the corrosion is take place in pipe or pump. Then the second point is excess chloride present in water indicates possibility of contamination and is likely to cause diseases. Means excess chloride present in water indicates possibility of contamination and is likely to cause various diseases. And the third effect is if such water is used in boilers, scale formation and boiler explosion may take place. Means if water used in boiler or if such water is used in boilers, then scale formation. Here scale formation means layer of impurities which is formed inside the surface of boiler, and boiler explosion may take place. So these are the effects of chlorides. Then the next test of chemical test is dissolved oxygen. Here first point is surface water contains dissolved oxygen which comes from atmosphere or due to the activities of algae and other plant in water. Then the second point is also amount of gases like hydrogen sulfide, methane, carbon dioxide, chlorine may be there depending upon the amount and character of unstable organic matter. And the third point is as the temperature increases, the gases and oxygen present in water reduces. Means the sufficient and adequate dissolved oxygen is essential in water to support the life of aquatic animals. Aquatic animals means fish or etc. Also, the oxygen gets dissolved over the surface waters either from atmosphere or because of activities of algae or other small plant life in water. Then the next test is pH value. pH value denotes the concentration of hydrogen ions in the water and it is a measure of the acidity or alkalinity of a substance. Then the second point is depending upon the dissolved salts and minerals, water may be classified as acidic or alkaline. Then third point is acidity is caused by mineral acids, free carbon dioxides, sulfates of iron and aluminium. Then next point is alkalinity of water is caused by hydroxides of sodium, potassium, calcium and magnesium. And the last point is pH value can be determined by electronic method and electrometric method. Here the pH is denoted by small p and capital H. Also, the pH value indicates the alkalinity or acidity of water. From this pH value, we can decide the quality of water. So, the next point is, or this table shows the pH scale. pH scale is from 0 to 14. Right? pH scale is from 0 to 14. Okay. From this table we can say that if pH is 0, if pH value is 0, then the solution is acidic. If pH value is 0, then solution is acidic. And if pH value is 14, then the solution is alkaline. If pH value is 14, then the solution is alkaline. Okay. And if the pH value is or at 0 pH, solution have maximum acidity, and if the pH is 14, have maximum alkalinity. And if the pH value is 7, if the pH value is 7, then the solution is neutral. So from this table we can find the quality of water, from which there is 3 range. Okay, 0 to 6 acidic range. If pH value is in between 0 to 6, then the acidic range, or then the solution is acidic. If pH value is 7, then the solution is neutral. And if the pH value is between 8 to 14, then the solution is alkaline. Then the next point is measurement of pH value. Okay, following are the 3 methods of determining the pH value. That is, first is colorimetric method, then second is electrometric method, and third is pH paper method. First we will see the colorimetric method. In this method, chemical indicators or chemical reagents are used. Then the second point is the chemical indicators are added in the water, and the color of solution developed is then compared with the standard of known pH value. And the third point is then from this identify the pH range, that is acidic or alkaline or neutral. Okay. In this method, chemical reagents or chemical indicators are used. First, the reagents are added in the water and then observe the color of solution. Okay. And then compare this solution with standard pH value. Compare this solution with standard pH values. From this, we can easily identify the pH range. Okay. If the color of solution is thymol blue or benzol blue or methyl red, then the pH indicates the acidic range. And if the color of solution is total red, phenol red, then the pH indicates the alkaline range. Okay. From this, we can identify the range of pH. Okay. Then the second method is electrometric method. In this method, the pH meter is usually used. Then the second point is a water sample of which pH value to be found is kept in beaker. 2 electrodes of pH meter are then dipped in water and connected to a dry cell. Then the third point is when the current is passed through the circuit of the instrument, then take the reading of pH value. Then the next point is then from this identify the pH range, that is acidic or alkaline. If the pH value shows from 0 to 6.9, then the water is acidic. And if the pH value shows from 7.1 to 14, then water is alkaline. And If the pH value shows 7, then the water is neutral. In this method, digital pH meter is used. In this, the buffer solution is used. The buffer solution of pH 4 and pH 9.2 is used to standardize the pH meter. From this solution, we can easily identify the range. If the pH value shows in between 0 to 6.9, then the water is acidic. And if the pH value shows 7, then the water is neutral. And if pH value shows 7.1 to 14, then the water is acidic. So this is the electrometric method. For this, pH meter is usually used. Then the third method is pH paper method. In this method, litmus paper is used. The litmus paper is dipped in water sample and showing change in color, which is compared with the printed color range. Okay. The comparison of range gives the pH value. The permissible range is 7 to 8.5 and maximum permissible range is 6.5 to 9.2. For potable water or drinking water, the pH value of water should be between 6.5 to 7.5. Here, in this method, litmus paper is used. Okay. If the pH value is low, that is acidic water. If pH value is low, that is acidic water, then the problems of corrosion can be caused. And pH value is high, then the water is alkaline, and then the problem of shutting the biological activities can be developed. So in this method, the litmus paper is used, and after litmus paper used, the showing change in color, which is compared with the printed color range. Okay. If the permissible range is 7 to 8.5 and maximum permissible range is 6.5 to 9.2, and for potable water or drinking water, the pH value should be between 6.5 to 7.5. Now we will see the sampling of water. After testing of water, the next point is sampling of water. Sampling of water is play a vital role in the analysis of water so as to obtain good results. Okay. The analysis of water is done on the sample taken from the source. Okay. There are two types of samples collected from source, that is grab sample and second is composite sample. Okay, first we will see the grab sample. When a sample of water is collected from the source at instant so as to identify the character of the sample at that particular instant is called as grab sample. Means instantly a sample is taken from the source and identify its character. Instantly a sample is taken from the source and identify its character. Okay. The frequency of this sample depends upon the magnitude of variation in the quality at sources. And the second is composite sample. When the mixture of grab collected at the same sampling point with different times, it is called as composite sample. Means for this, the grab sample and the source sample with different times is collected, and that sample is called as composite sample. In this, contents are mixed and then average sample is taken for examination. So these are the two samples collected from source, that is grab sample and composite sample. Now we discuss about the precautions or what precautions for taking the samples at source. Okay. First precaution is water sample at source should be collected in white glass bottles which have well fitted stoppers. Okay. Water samples should be collected in white glass bottles which have well fitted stoppers. Then the second precaution is when sample is taken from tap, then sufficient amount of water should be allowed to pass before collecting the sample. Then the third point is the nozzle of the tap should be flamed and then cooled down by the running water before filling the sample bottle in case of sample to be collected for bacteriological examination. And last precaution is date and time collected of sample. Time of source, temperature should be written on paper, stick to bottle or written on separate sheet of paper. Okay, so these are the various precautions which should be taken during water sampling. So in chemical test we discuss about the first point discussed is the various tests which performs for chemical test, in which first is total solids, then the second is hardness, then the next is chlorides, then the next is pH value. Okay, and then we see the sampling of water and precautions for taking the samples at source. Hope you like the information given in this video. Okay, up to this, if anybody have any question or problem, then please ask me and complete the assignments which are given to you within allotted time. Okay, thank you.